You know, we're in a period of official mourning, so I myself have a question which maybe arises from my culture, that within a period of official mourning we still have all these flowers here for this weekend's or today's brides. It makes me wonder. Anyway, I wonder if the bride and the groom were here today, sitting here. I don't know who they are. I wonder what I might share with them. I think one thing I wouldn't talk about is love, because I don't think I'm an expert on love. Like the rest of you, I'm a practitioner. And I pass and I fail like everybody else. And I have no right to preach down at anybody about what they should do or how they should live their lives. We are companions on the journey. And love. I remember when I was still living at home with Mum and Dad. My sister by then, I have two sisters, they were both married by then. And one of them came home one day and they're in the living room and I was there too. And it started off with my sister saying to Mum and Dad, "Mum, Dad, I love you." And I remember to this day Mum turning to Dad and saying, "Oh my God, what is it now?" What would it share with a bride and a groom if they were here today? I would share, I think, that I hope that you are both full of joy. The gospel talks of our being people full of joy. Happiness can be rather frothy and can be very up and down. But through all the turmoil, through all that goes on, the happinesses and the sadnesses, there's a constant Christian joy. I hope that you're people of hope, full of hope for a future, full of hope for a life that you have together, to which you're going to promise yourselves to each other in this church today. Joy and hope go together. I hope that you are people, two people who live a life that speaks of dignity. Dignity for yourself as you stand before your beloved. Dignity of the other who is in your relationship. That you respect the dignity of your family and your friends. That you respect the dignity of the children who may come your way. That you respect the dignity of the community and the dignity of all people. And all that that means. Showing respect, love, lifting people up in the midst of their turmoil and their sadnesses and their failures, respecting always who they are. And above all, I would hope that the two of you are people who show and know compassion. When things go wrong, there's always compassion, forgiveness. Now, I could share that message if they were here with that bride and groom of today or of this weekend. But I would say that I could share that message with each and every one of you here today. That same message can be shared over and over again with all of humanity. That as humanity we are called to be people who have hope. Hope in a future. Hope in a world that is. People who live with a sense of joy that this is a good place to be. People who show compassion and who know and show a sense of dignity that everyone before us, and myself included, has a right to be a person who is shown dignity and who lives with dignity. That is a message that needs to be proclaimed maybe most strongly when we make new beginnings in life. Whether it be the day of marriage, the day of ordination, the day beginning a new career, the day starting a new fresh start, whatever it might be in life, moving to a new country, moving to a new community. And it's a message for everybody. Single, married, priests, religious, people in relationships. It's a message that is alive today as we face the challenges of life. For today is the World Day of the Poor, and Pope Leo has issued a message, as happens for this day every year. And one thing he says in his message that stays with me is that wealth disappoints, whether rich or poor. Wealth is not to be the foundation for one's existence. Faith is a foundation for our existence. And we know in this year of a holy year that we are pilgrims of hope. And St. Paul says, hope does not disappoint. But wealth can disappoint. Wealth is not the answer to life, but is a necessity for life. And whether rich or poor, we can be ruled by wealth rather than by faith, hope, and charity, rather than by the gospel. There's a challenge for us. What rules our life, no matter how rich or how poor we are? Pope Leo goes on. He says that the poor in our world are not people to be objects of charity, to be looked upon and say, you poor people. None of that at all. But that we are all in this life together, rich and poor, and that we are all creative subjects of our existence. That we're all called to lift each other up and to live life together. And that we're all called to live a life with dignity. And ultimately, we create that together. Ultimately, we create that for ourselves, but we don't have others created for us. We are reminded of this, that we are all in this together in a holy year, for we are pilgrims of hope. As a community of faith, we went on a pilgrimage a year ago, and I remember somebody saying, I'm excited because I'm learning the path of Christ. And somebody else said, the path is painful, but we can do it together. Then we went away on a second pilgrimage, and now we're about to go on a third pilgrimage. We are pilgrims of hope. We are all on a journey, rich or poor, whether we're the bride or groom of today or just living an ordinary routine day. We are all caught up in the same journey, with the same wonders and surprises that surround that journey, with the same challenges that arise, challenges that are seen so, I forget my English sometimes, so profoundly when we lose things in life, when we lose someone we love, when we lose our wealth, when we lose a job or whatever it might be, war, conflict. We've all faced the challenges, but we are pilgrims of hope, and that is real, for we are pilgrims together, and we go on the journey together, and so we lift each other up along the way. Joy and hope are real in our world. They will seem unreal or not part of our world if we just live as isolated individuals in our comfort zones or our bubbles. But as we go on the journey together, rich or poor, as pilgrims of hope, we will see that it is real. Hope is alive, hope is eternal, and life is full of joy with its wonders and surprises, and that each one of us has our own dignity, a dignity that is given to us by God, a God who is with us, a God who is here and now, a God who creates us, and a God who loves us no matter what.